All right, let us get this party started. Let's go. All right. Hello, one, and hello, all. We are just casually popping up. Hello, Tao Gua, yet again. Thank you for popping by and always being first message. It's actually crazy how you are able to do that. Anyway, welcome and thank you for popping by. And yeah, so I hope you're doing great at the moment. I mean, I don't know if there are other people who are going to be popping in, but anyway, we are going to go right ahead and begin. So, I think that a whole bunch of you out there are probably aware that like we did a little fun thing yesterday. My goodness. Basically, we went right ahead and we created a Discord server. Now, those of you who might have missed the live stream, you might not have actually seen it, but like basically, yeah, there was essentially this whole live stream experience that we did just yesterday, and it was featuring Siti Masdura and the whole experience really of this good old fashioned like appeal right there. And towards the end, basically, we launched this, and there was a whole bunch of y'all out there who decided to go right ahead and pop in. There was even a guy, Marcus TZB. If you are out there, thank you for being part of that epic historical live stream out there, and it was a very interesting, I must say, showcase. Go right ahead and rewatch that if you are interested. But anyway, so to those of you out there today, we're going to be talking about something a little bit more serious. And that leads us directly into the title of today's video, which is Discord age verification drama in the age of our new server. Now, when we created the server, right? So there was actually a whole lot of drama that was going on. And I think that if you've been reading the news, if you've been watching like videos all over the internet, you would have known this, right? Like the influencers are basically coming out in force right here, even as we went out to create Sepupu HQ. And maybe you've seen some of their takes already, maybe not, but either way, we'll go right ahead. And well, talk about like what exactly is happening right here, even as we look at some of the takes that people have. All right, great. So now, this is what's happening, right? So like there are teen by default settings globally for Discord right about now, right? And basically what is happening right here is that they are announcing enhanced teen safety features. So then that basically makes it so that it is allegedly safer for the entire teenage population online. Now, people, of course, they have a very different viewpoints on this idea of safety out there, and a lot of people think that it is basically bullshit. Companies have an incentive to collect your data. Of course, they will go out there and take as much data as they want. And if they are going out and asking you to go out there and take pictures of your face and your ID over and over again, then obviously it is for a bad purpose, or at least that's what people are saying. Now, we'll look at like a couple of those viewpoints right here from some of my favorite influencers. Well, actually, really like just one of my favorite influencers, and yeah, like another influencer as well. All right, so now this is a take from some ordinary gamer, Mutahar.
Just like age verification.
All right.
Hello, guys and gals, me, Mutahar, and there's a lot of hullabaloo today about what Discord did. You know, ladies and gentlemen, you know how much we dislike age verification? You know, we're reaching that point in the world where I'm gonna have to show my ID everywhere I go, okay? Do I want to post something to GitHub? Better show that ID. Do I want to do anything worthwhile on the internet? Better walk around with my identification. Now, I love anonymity on the internet. I think it's a good thing. I think we should be allowed to discuss things freely on the internet without fucking every single ID being needed, okay? Now, before we continue,
Valid. Actually, like that is actually valid. I mean, like maybe you are the kind of person who just doesn't mind like, uploading your ID like anywhere and anytime that you want right there. But personally, I'm not a fan of it either. And of course, then there is another take right here from the inimitable Penguins Zero, one of my very favorite influencers of all time.
Discord's come a long way since its humble beginnings as a Reddit tier, memer, fedora tipping, narwhal baconing at midnight service, where every time you fired it up, it'd toss incredibly timeless classics at you, like constructing additional pylons and overloading on memes, watch out for Wumpus, and anytime you contacted their support, you were put in touch with Springle, the mystical gnome fairy elf wizard lord, to do nothing to help you with whatever problem you had. Discord has grown a lot since those days. It has been a staple in society for the last couple of years. And just a few hours ago, they put out an announcement about some big
Well, I told you a little bit about this already, but well, Charlie's take on this right here. And for those of you who don't follow Charlie, he's basically a commentary YouTuber, much like myself right here. And basically, what is happening right here is that Charlie is complaining about the fact that there is age restriction right here. And he's also casually talking about how, well, giving Discord your ID right here is a very, very bad idea in his estimation because they faced a backlash over exactly
government
age checks, right? Because a data breach exposed 70,000 IDs. And like this is not just Charlie that's talking about it, right? Like this is just like a reaction. If we go actually to like the media sources, right? Like you can actually see that there are literally like all of these like stories out there. It's not good, like literally like people sending in like your IDs and everything like that. It's just yeah, like not really a good look. And so people on the internet are casually asking, right? What? And now you're asking us to send in our IDs again? And yeah, I have to say, like, it actually sounds very, very bad. And especially when we've just casually created a Discord server right here, right? So then, like, that opens up some questions, right? Like, should you be in the server? Like, should you just, like, leave the server? And those are things actually that I want to talk about very much today, right? But here's something interesting to first note, right? As we kind of like transition into this issue. It is true that Discord actually had a data breach of 70,000 IDs, right? And it is true that companies, right, like Discord, they do want to make use of your data. They do want to make use of the ability that it gives them to market to you, to understand you, to basically look really at the things that you're doing along the way in order to go out and understand even better how they can squeeze every single drop of money out of you. And the thing is, though, right? I want to offer an alternate perspective to this, right? What if Discord hadn't told you? That's number one. What if Discord hadn't told us about that data breach? And number two, right? What are the factors that are actually pushing them to do this? And are they actually legit, right? Now, if you think about it, right? We are here right now, like thinking about Discord and the things that it is doing in order to sort of like collect your data right at the moment, right? But just think about what is actually happening right here, and I'll show you, right? Like the update on the security incident, which basically resulted, right, in the problem, the 70,000 different ID photos getting leaked right over there, right? Let's look a little bit at this, right? And I think that it will help you to understand like what's going on a little bit, right? Beyond just the stereotype of like saying, hey, I don't trust these people, like they are scumbags, again, out to extract every single dollar from me, right? So this is what's happening right here. October the 9th, they discovered an incident where an unauthorized party compromised, right? One of their third-party vendors. It was not a breach of Discord, but a breach of 5CA. It impacted a limited number of users. 70,000 users may have had government ID photos exposed. No messages were accessed beyond what might have been discussed with customer support or trust and safety agents, which perhaps people don't necessarily trust right about now. But anyway, this is what we've got right here. They're working closely with law enforcement to investigate this matter. They are emailing the users impacted right about now. So this is what's actually happening right here. They are disclosing, right, all of the stuff that has essentially been revealed, right? Potentially revealed. Because like apparently what happened was that the guys who hacked these people, right, like 5CA, actually wanted to extort a financial ransom from them, from Discord, basically. And they disclose here exactly, right, what data was not involved. And they also disclose what they are currently doing and the next steps ahead. Wow. Now that sounds like a horrible debacle. You have 70,000 IDs that have been exposed. What? That is, until you realize actually, right? A few things. Number one, right? So Discord actually has about 200 million users, right? If you do the math, 70,000 is a fraction of that. Now, I'm not saying that like IDs should be exposed. Under no circumstances should they be exposed, right? But you have to understand the scope and the scale of the actual problem, right? So those IDs, right, that were made use of, right, were actually in the age verification pipeline, right, which actually is something, right, that you only go into, right, if you are accessing a very, very specific kind of content. Look at this right here. I'm old enough to use Discord in my country, but I got locked out. So, like, maybe you've heard about this, maybe not, but like, the fact is, right, that they are saying that, hey, this is what needs to happen right here. If basically you have been identified as being pretty much like above the actual required age, then in that situation, then what's going to happen is that they are going to ask you to do, right, a face scan. By the way, like the tip here is actually important, right? Tip, if you're in the UK, you will also see an option to complete a face scan. All right. Okay. The in the UK thing is going to be important because I need to talk to you a little bit about like the broader situation that's actually like happening out there, right? And why they are actually doing this, right? Is it just for money? Big question. But anyway, so then basically this only happens in most cases, right? If you very specifically need to actually make use of like the age verification, right? And when does that exactly happen? That happens, right, when you are using 18 plus content. If you are accessing stuff like pornography, gore content, NSFW stuff, and a whole lot of other things. Now, this is something interesting to think about, right? Because if you are not accessing NSFW content, then there's an open question, right, of whether or not you'll actually be required, right, to do like age verification in the first place. Now, if you actually were to look at the way that Discord writes about this, right, like it's kind of interesting to like think about. They are saying basically that in this situation, so users may be required to engage in an age verification process to change settings or access sensitive content. So this includes age restricted channels, servers or commands, and select message requests. Okay, so then like they are saying also, nowhere is this safety work more important than when it comes to teen users, which is why we are announcing these updates in time for Safer Internet Day. It sounds like it's nonsense actually, but it's maybe not exactly. Because I don't know if you know this, right? But like actually ever since last year, right, globally, there has been a lot of different policy action, right, on the part of different countries to start regulating the internet. We saw it in Malaysia when basically they announced the under 16 social media ban. We saw it in Australia that actually enforced that ban. And we saw it in the UK, right, with the Online Safety Act. And like if you actually were to sort of like look at the whole situation out there, right, So now pay attention, right, to what is actually said over here. Look, so like the UK's Online Safety Act, right, is basically asking for highly effective age checks. They are saying we need real age assurance. Certain services have duties to introduce robust age checks, and that is what is going on right there. Australia is a thing. Age assurance needs to be like a sort of like default expectation, and so on, so forth, right over there, right? You can say basically that, hey, look, like it shouldn't be asking for this in the very first place, right? But then the question is then, well, like, should they go against the UK government? Should they go against the Australian government? Should they go against all of that stuff right there? I mean, you can argue, right? Like very idealistically, that maybe if they actually were to do that sort of thing, right? Then, like in that case, then they can truly be like heroes of all the gamers, all the people who are like playing Valorant or like hanging out on Saput's server and like sending out like a ton of messages. By the way, we've had like some fun out there in the different channels of the Discord. And if you are interested, then yeah, like this is the kind of thing that we're seeing right about now. Like we've got about like 40 people so far, and if you want, then you can go right ahead, right, and like just take a screenshot of this link right over here, and then like paste it in. And I look forward to joining you in the Discord server. But again, right, so then just because, right, like we're having a good time, right, it doesn't necessarily mean it's like something that everybody should do, because like there is a real concern about age verification, right? Like, and user privacy and data. All of us who use the internet, right, are affected by this. And if Discord is basically going out there and then losing our data, right? So then like there's a question, right? Like what is going to actually happen along the way, right? Like are you going to be impersonated or anything else out there? To that I would say that, well, first things first, right? If you think about how they were actually telling us about what happened in the actual data breach, right? I would say that that is a level of accountability, right? That you're not going to get from like a Malaysian government agency. Like, I'm sorry, but like, you can say that Discord is scum. You can say that it's terrible, it's horrible, it's trash, or anything else out there, right? But the very fact that they told you exactly what kind of data was lost, when it was lost, under what circumstances it was lost, and what they were doing, right, is like way better compared to what you would have in Malaysia. I don't know about your country out there. By the way, like, where are you guys watching from? Let me know out in the chat. Okay, so like, what countries are you from? I'm curious. So like, in this case right here, I'm seeing like some comments, and people are saying, well, did Discord get data breached in the UK last October? Discord did get data breached. And Arif basically is saying right about now, many are pointing to the fact that Discord's new CEO is Israeli, and they think it has something to do with it. So yeah, I mean, like, people are saying that, like, well, they just want your info, right? But then, like, in that case, then you have to kind of like, like rule out, right, every single possibility that like they are not doing it for A, compliance, B, actual and valid reasons. And like we'll talk more about the valid reasons later on, right? But it is an actual fact, right? There are people who actually do target people on the internet. Now, people will say that, like, hey, the solution to that is not to actually like require this sort of like age verification nonsense right there. But the thing is that if you can't stop the attackers, or the attackers are coming from like everywhere out there, right? Then in that case, then you may have to actually like take some action. And again, what I said earlier was that like if basically Discord chooses not to take any action, then that means it's actually violating the law. So then the question is, do you prefer that Discord does this, or do you prefer, right, that they lose access in your country, right? Like think about it, right? Like actually think about it, right? Like this platform that we're using right now, right, on Discord, like it is one of the very best platforms that you actually have available. Look, so you can actually like go right ahead and like you can invite bots, right? Like all of this stuff right here, whereby like we publish stuff, we actually get people to be able to like introduce themselves. Welcome, by the way, it's the poops. I see that like some of y'all actually joined in the middle of the live stream. Welcome, Sudarsono. Welcome, Arif. I think Arif is like that one Arif who just like popped in earlier. I'm sorry, excuse me. Like the disturbing story of Pass and Amno, and yeah, lots of y'all out there in general. What's up, up, Game Master Prime? Thank you all for joining. And if you want, then you can go right ahead and join, right? By making use of the QR code, right? Or you can use the invitation link that I gave to you guys a little bit earlier on. Huh, I can't find my like thumbnail at the moment. I guess you have to kind of like bear with this for a quick bit. Yeah, anyway, so the thing is, right, that when we think about the fact that they basically told us about the data breach, right? I think that that's a good thing, right? And the fact that they are not violating laws is, I think, also a good thing, right? Because again, like you have access to this platform that is very powerful. It allows you to basically invite an arbitrary number of people to have like voice chats to basically like talk to people. It is true that people are basically like getting dependent on it and people miss the era of forums, right? I totally get that, right? Like you had something very good going, right? And like you can actually see the way that people are like talking about like the forums and everything like that. And I think that it's worth trying to understand, right? Like what people are actually saying right here, right? And yeah, so there are some comments right over here about Discord, about how people use it every single day. It is very powerful, I would say. But then they are saying that it is going to rapidly enshitify, meaning like become like horrible right there. Because, right, it is moving towards becoming a very, very large, well, corporate behemoth entity right here, which it, by the way, already is at this point in time, right? Despite the fact that it's kind of like for gamers, for like people to like chat and hang out and do stuff like that. But like, the thing is, right, like it is very easy, right, to like start saying that, hey, like y'all started making like a ton of money right now. So then that's why you're changing, right? Like you lost your soul, you sold out. That's why you're doing all of this, right? But I don't think that you can actually like just completely make that claim, right? I don't know. Like if any of you have ever like earned money kind of thing in your life, if you've never earned money before, then I suggest like trying it someday. You might actually find it enjoyable, right? And you start to realize actually once you start making some money of your own, right? That money doesn't make you an evil person. It doesn't make you an evil person, not at all, right? And well, if you want to test that hypothesis, then feel free to send me some money. You can find out, like you can like measure my personality, see if like I become like evil. But seriously, it does help my channel and it does help with his work as well. So thank you in advance. So, but the thing is, right? Like when you think about Discord as a platform, right? So do they really have right an incentive to go out there and automatically become shitty? I don't think so. But see, the thing is, when we think about the age verification, right? So then, what if the age verification really, really, really becomes horrible? This is what they're saying, right? And what they're saying is not necessarily what's going to happen, but it is a valuable source anyway. They are saying that basically, instead of actually doing their age verification by asking every single person to send in an ID, right? They are going to do estimation, right? They are going to do age inference. It is going to run in the background to help you determine whether an account belongs to an adult. And Charlie basically said it pretty well just earlier. He was like saying, hey, like if you make use of like tax discords and stuff like that, then maybe then you're not actually like a child. So like we can understand that like, hey, if you're going out there and reading political discussions and joining, well, politics focus or like, well, other types of discords that don't have anything to do with what children would normally, well, take part in, then maybe in that case, then you are probably an adult, right? So then in that case, right? So like, this is the scenario, right? So like imagine that the person wants to access adult contents. So then there can be like two cases. Case number one, the person is an adult, and case number two, the person is a child, right? Now, you would imagine, right, that you want a situation where if a child tries to access actual adult content, that Discord determined correctly to be adult content, like let's say porn or like let's say gore or like I don't know, like videos of kids like basically being like tortured or anything else out there, you don't want a kid to access that. Like that's a fact, right? Okay. But the thing is, right, that if an adult were to go out there and access it, I think that you probably say that, hey, that's probably not like really a good thing, but like, you should be able to handle yourself because you are an adult. I think that the jury is out on that, right? But the problem is, right, if you are an adult, right, then Discord is like asking you for your ID all the way. Like basically, like me right now, right? If they are going up to me and saying, hey, you know what? Like you need to go out there and give me your ID because I need to figure out whether you are really a child, kind of thing, right? So then in that situation, then I think that we're gonna have a problem, right? Because like in that case, right? you know, I am the adult. So then, statistically speaking, right, I am supposed to have the buying power, right? So that in that situation, then Discord has a stronger incentive to go out there and target me and say, hey, this particular person right here, he wants to go ahead and use our platform. You know what? We can make some money from him and we can sell ads, right? So therefore, we're gonna go out there and we are going to collect his ID and we are gonna use that as leverage. Well, unfortunately, right? Like that's not actually what even happened when I tried, right? Like signing up for an account just earlier. Now, some of you, by the way, right? Like you might have actually seen a user that came onto the server a little bit earlier on, right? So like now I'm just gonna go right ahead and explain that, right? So like there is essentially this one user, right? That's called at this moment Sapoop Tester. All right. Yeah, we had like a lot of like meaningful conversations right there. And yeah, so thank you all for participating in that. Anyway, so like there was a user that was called like Sapoop Tester, that basically came in earlier on, right? And the Sapoop Tester was actually a hold on, let me see. Sapoop Tester, Sapoop Tester, Sapoop Tester. I don't know exactly where it is at the moment. But anyway, so like basically I brought in a tester account and you're gonna see basically in this little video, right, that I brought in, and yes, you can see my exact date of birth right here. I claim that this was my date of birth, right? September the 1st, 1992, right? Congratulations. You know when to send me a birthday present now, so you better don't say that you don't know my birthday, Lim Pe Kali Kong, you better send. No, I'm kidding, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But, all right, so now, the point is, right, I tried to sign up for an account, right, because I wanted to test out some aspects of like the server. Like, for example, right now, right, like if you actually try, and you can try, right, you can try to go into the server right now and you notice that you don't see all of these things, right? You don't see all these things like down here. You don't see general, you don't see share your socials, you don't see like all that stuff. That's because you need to actually verify in order to like access the server. And that's what a lot of you actually did, right, when you came in, right? Because I need you to actually be legit people. Later on, there'll be a point system, and like y'all can actually like have an incentive to go out there and invite people as well. But the point is, right? So like I created basically like an alt account, right? By the way, like you guys aren't actually allowed to use like alt accounts, but I'm using that because like I'm just testing the server, right? Do as I say, not as I do. But anyway, look, right? So when I use the server, right? So then like basically like what happened right here was that like yeah, I did like the pipe checking thingamabob right there. And you can see that I just went ahead and I access the server, right? And like there's no issue whatsoever with actually joining the server, right? I wasn't asked for an age verification or anything like that. Now, you can say that maybe that's actually, well, a thing, right? Because age verification is only really going to roll out in March or something like that, right? But what it told me, right, is that basically if you join the Discord, right, and then you're not asked for age verification, in that case, then you don't have like a problem, right? The only case where you would actually have a problem is if you are asked for age verification and you actually go ahead and give your ID. And to that I say, right, like for you, if you feel right, like you are 2 stars already, right, you can't use Discord, you can't use the server that like I basically invited you to, and you have to give your ID in order to go out there and use the server. In that case, in that situation, then for you, for your personal mental peace kind of thing, go ahead, leave the server. It's like I think that we can engage on different platforms, right? Like on different platforms, like say like well, YouTube, of course. On Facebook, I might start a Substack like pretty soon as well, so then you guys can also subscribe to well support some of my thoughts and various other things of that nature. And we'll also have like Patreon and various other things as well. But the point is, right, that age verification is not going to become an issue unless, right, you are actually subjected to it. Which again, what they said is that the vast majority of people are not going to be submitted to, are not going to be subjected to. So if that is true for you, right, then like I would say go ahead and like take part in the conversation. I think that Discord, right, is a very interesting platform to make use of. And I do not think that like what you have heard, right, from all the influencers should be telling you like, hey, you should stop using Discord, right? Because whether you like it or not, whatever you are thinking about it, right, it is a spectacular piece of technology and it allows you to do a lot of stuff, right? And to talk about a whole lot of like different things. By the way, like this is the actual video that like Donald Trump was accused of being, well, the White House was accused of being racist for like publishing right there, which I personally don't actually think is very racist because I've actually watched it. Oh, okay, that's too loud. Is that racist? Is that racist? Is it racist if you're calling everyone an animal? In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. I win, I win, I win. Okay, you know what? Like, go ahead and join the Discord and like let me know. Like, do you think that this is racist or is it not racist? I think it would be so fun if actually like some of y'all came in and like we had like a nice discussion about Donald Trump because like that guy is just yeah, I don't know, it's interesting. But by the way, like this is the same guy who created like that poop video like featuring Donald Trump again as well. So like we've got like a whole bunch of like discussions going on, like you know, like people talking in like Malay, some people talking like Chinese. We had like a whole discussion about like Hokkien and Cantonese and stuff like that. Nobody is actually speaking Tamil at the moment, so like if you can actually speak Tamil, I would love it if you can actually like drop by. If you think that basically like, hey, oh okay, like some it looks like people want a Japanese language server. If you think that like some of these other languages are needed, right? Then like maybe like if we have like 5 votes or something like that, then what's gonna happen is I will go ahead and like create those channels right there. Then we have like yeah some like discussion about like politics and a whole bunch of stuff out there. So like if you think that that's like valuable, then I think that well go ahead and join the Discord server. If you basically feel right that like the age verification thing really is an issue, I can't really like stop you in that case. I'm not gonna like push. I'm not gonna like sell it to you. But again, my position is that like if you don't actually face the age verification, then you're not gonna have a problem. In that case, then as an adult, right, you can continue using Discord per normal without actually being subjected to this problem. If you get what I mean, right there. You can decide to believe me or you can decide not to believe me, right? But I think, right, that there are times in life, right, when you have like certain opportunities. And I think that Discord, at least in our generation, is an opportunity to get connected in ways that we may not have been able to connect before. Of course, a lot of y'all have WhatsApp, and I know that a lot of y'all actually join from like somewhat from like one particular WhatsApp group that I posted to. And in the interest of privacy, I'm not going to disclose that. But I will say that having met a lot of y'all across the years or known like how you think over the course of time, so I appreciate your thoughts, your thinking, and your open-mindedness as well to be able to join me on this process, even though some of you actually have like legit concerns about this. Thank you for being a part of my Discord and also for being a part of the channel as well, Sapoops. So yeah, I mean, when we think about like everything that Discord is saying right here, you can go ahead and you can interpret it again, right, as sort of like corporate gobbledygook, right? And you can talk about like this teen council. Are you crazy? What teen council? You're gonna like get like all these people to be a teen advisory body, that kind of thing. And you know, you might just think that that's ridiculous, but like personally, I think that like if you look at it another way, right? Like beyond the cynicism of like our modern era right here, right? You can see that maybe like that is a possible way, right, of actually like creating something beneficial kind of thing. I feel like you could actually like create a sort of like manhwa about like those teenagers like out there in the council right there and stuff like that. I think that that's actually a possibility. But speaking of teens, right? Okay, so I do want to talk a little bit about social media, right? And the impacts that it does have on people. I know it's very easy to trivialize that. I know that Charlie, for example, right, said something like, hey, so like maybe parents shouldn't be going out there and then like having their kids be parented by their computers, right? Now, like, let's see, what exactly did he say? Look, he said, okay, look, this is what he said. This is what he said.
Fascinating idea. I brace yourself because maybe this is a controversial take. This perhaps could be spicy. Do you know how you really protect children on Discord? You don't let children on Discord. This is going to tie into something I was just yapping about a couple days ago, and it's something I've said numerous times over the years, but we are in an era where parents do not want to be parents. They would much rather just plop their kids in front of an iPad or a computer and let the internet raise their kids for them, and just let them have completely unmonitored, unfiltered, unlimited access to the cyberspace, the World Wide Web. And as such, the entire landscape of the internet has shifted to constantly be catering towards children using it, which is extraordinarily different from how it was when I was growing up, where the internet was made for adults and kids had like certain special pockets online. But by and large, the internet was focused on a
All right, so that's the past. And he makes a good point, right? Like, I don't know how many of you out there are actually parents, right? But if you have kids of your own, right? So then, like, let's say, for example, that you're working a job, right? Then you have like things that demand your attention in ways that maybe like in the past generations, like would not have been the case, right? So then, like, you send your kids to basically look at an iPad or watch a video, that kind of thing, for like maybe like an hour, 2 hours kind of thing. Like, in some sense, you may kind of need it, right? But the thing is, right, that instead of saying that, hey, we should not let kids use technology or social media or anything else out there, right? I think that at some point, right, you need to really think about like the actual problems, right, that like say parents might be facing along the way in dealing with this. And like a lot of this stuff is not stuff that you can just like easily like say, hey, like ask the government to go ahead and fix it, right? Because like if the government going to be paying for like every single part of your childcare, is the government going to monitor every single person out there? I know that like you want people to basically go out there and like monitor like what the kids are doing to basically like stop them from, oh wait, I'm sorry, you don't want to be monitored everywhere. You basically want it so that kids can actually be safe and actually not face this sort of problem. But at the same time, you want yourself to be free. So then now it looks like we have a problem, right? It's like you want regulation or like say better like parenting for the kids, but at the same time, you have this economy, right? That like is basically not actually serving like all these parents and allowing them to really like serve their kids in that way, right? Like if you think about it, like is it really a matter of like the parental choice? Like if they basically had no commitments or whatever have you, right? Do you think that they would make the same choice and then run away from their kids? That kind of thing. Like when I look at like parents out there, right? So like I'm not saying that every single parent is like this, right? But I know of like enough people out there, right, who genuinely feel that like if they don't do their very best and otherwise, right, or work long hours, that in that case, then they will be fired. If they get fired, then they can't feed their kids. If they give attention in this particular way, then in that case, then they may lose out. There are some people out there who just like can't find that balance. Like they spend every single weekend just like looking at the computer screens. In the best years of their children's lives, right? They grow up and they just like don't even know what their kids are all about, right? But there are also lots of like great parents. And like I'm not just saying like in Malaysia, but even in Singapore, right? You have like great parents out there. They are stressed, they make the time, right? But that also does mean, right? In some situations, they may let their kids look at social media. Now, is that actually like a horrible thingamabob right here? Now, it's never as good or as bad as you might think it actually is. That's a fact, right? I will say that it is actually a fact. And oh, look, there are some more people out there on the voice chat at the moment. And yesterday, Marcus actually like showed up and like hung out along the way. I'm not gonna go into that right at the moment, but like let me go ahead and finish this point right here that I'm trying to make, right? Like there is actual real research. And I'm sorry, I can't like find like specific paper names for you. But look, right? Like this is not just a confirmation bias thing that I'm going to do right now, right? But like, look at this, right? I'm gonna ask a simple question. Is there a valid, legitimate concern for parents about social media and about the challenges that it poses to the mental health or safety of their children when it comes to using the internet? Has there been documented evidence of the impact of social media on the self confidence, on the safety, on the well being of children in ways that have been validated by academic studies or otherwise that showcase that the effect of social media on children is non-trivial and may in some sense warrant intervention, whether it is by changing the guardrails per what perhaps the economist Joseph Stiglitz might have declared in talking about designing New Order freedom, or is such evidence non existent? And are the people who are just talking about social media regulation gaslighting and telling a profound lie because they want to make money? So now here we have it. Oh my gosh, are there more people like just popping in? That's crazy. Well, all right, so now here we have it, right? Wow, is that like 5 of y'all? A simulcast the poop stream. Okay, you know what? I can't resist. And Sapoop, Sapoop, Sapoop. What's going on?
Oh, sorry. Hang on a second. I thought we are in a simulcast mode here. So, anyways, hey,
Hey,
Victor, welcome.
what's up? How's it going? Oh,
Yeah, it's
Hello.
not pretty
I
good.
see that like you
but
have like
I
a range of
recently
you out
got
there.
Guys,
Yo,
I
what's
recently
up?
got this latest flagship game here.
Yeah. Wow,
So,
that's actually amazing.
right
Mario
ahead
Tennis
of a
Fever.
Chinese New Year. Yep.
新年快乐
Again,
to those of you who are like celebrating. And yeah, what's up? You have right here Marcus, The Waffles, Misplaced Maish, R7 the guy, Safi right here. Welcome to every single one of you to yeah, you're gonna see yourselves
no.
right about now on like the actual YouTube live right now. So thank you so much for being here and also doing this simulcast. What were you guys doing?
Yeah, we were just trying to
Well,
watching your stream until you joined. Yeah.
Okay, let me
yeah,
get
joining was a bit of a jump scare to me.
let me get back to it and then like I'll see
But
you guys a little bit later on. But yeah, so like have fun. Like I hope that you
yeah,
enjoy
sure.
watching the stream. Yeah, great. Okay, cool. See you
Yeah,
in a bit.
after you were joining after
yeah,
this,
see
so
you in a
yeah,
bit.
I'll see you later.
Maybe for a short while. I do need to sleep a
Yeah,
little
see
bit
you in
later
a bit,
on.
man.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
like yeah. Okay, great. See you later. Bye. Cheers. All right, so as you can see, so we have like a whole range of like people just out there, just casually hanging out. So like, if you want to join us, you know, I think that you'll potentially enjoy it. And you can see right here, I didn't actually post this, so like that was just like automatic that came about, right? Like because I set up right MEE6 so that it will just automatically go ahead and like put things in. If you want to keep up on like stuff like Instagram updates, I rarely post on Instagram, but like that's also going to be a thing right here. Live stream, I only put in like the thumbnail at the moment because like I don't actually stream on Twitch just yet, right? Because like it's mostly for the audience and like there's always lots of like really interesting like things that are happening right here, such as voice chat with Sapoop stream along the way. Wow. Guys, love it. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And now let's actually look right at like the whole social media thing. You want to say that like there's no impact on children. You want to say that basically like, hey, everybody should be like completely wild and free and young and everything like that. Well, I mean, you don't have to talk about like scams. You can like just think about like all this stuff right here, right? Look, so like, okay, valid and legitimate reasons. It's not imaginary, but it's not simple as social media universally destroys children, right? Like, I think that all y'all can see, right? That like social media, I think you can understand, right? That like, hey, it's like one of those things, right? That is like nice to have. If your friends are all using social media and like basically all you do is like doom scroll and like tag each other on IG and then like post stories day in and day out doing nothing else kind of thing. And like if you basically lose it, then you lose your entire social life. Okay, then maybe that's a problem. But you know what's also a big problem? The big problem is that like you're already addicted. You're in that ecosystem. You're not like living the life that basically you otherwise could be. Like people could be talking about like an era like a long time ago when basically like people were just casually like using their bicycles and not their laptops all day and all night, and they were actually going out seeing the sunshine, looking at the grass, touching it, and then embracing their best friends and enjoying the feeling of really being a kid. So I think a lot of people are saying that like nowadays, right? Like kids, they don't have the experience anymore, right? Like people talk about like how like you know when I was 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, that kind of thing, bro. Like okay, I like Charlie, right? I'm not gonna like diss him like in the vast majority of situations, and this is not a diss either, right? Like this is an actual direct response, right? Every single generation of people, right, had different types of experiences. If you were living in Middle Ages England, then chances are before you even become a 10-year-old, then you'll be dead. If you were living in the Industrial Revolution, in the time, right, of what William Blake called dark satanic mills, right? In basically the town of Manchester, where smoke would billow and stuff like that, you would probably also be dead by the age of 10. But also, by the way, by that point, you have worked for like, I don't know, like 5 years of your life. Maybe you'll be like going out there and selling newspapers. You think that it's all like a nice bed of roses? You think macam budak 90s, pleasure, like pergi, hang out, play Pokemon, go to friend's house, and after that and bicycle all the way? No, we live in like a very sweet spot. And like nowadays, like you ask kids, right? Like the way that they are growing up in the age of AI. Their constraints, the things that they saw, the things that they feel on a day-to-day basis, they are different because it is a new generation. You can't just compare like apples to apples, right? Like one generation to the next generation, Charlie. Like it's just the way that things have evolved. Now, I don't want to say that like I like am going to, let's say, completely discount what he's saying because like it is valid. Like in a lot of different ways, it is valid, like 100%, right? But there are certain things, right, that you can't just be going out there and then like saying, hey, it's because people are evil. That's why it is like that. It's so easy to go out there and say, hey, like this company, that company, every single company in the world is evil. It's very believable. And on social media, on the internet, on the news, people believe it because it is more plausible. If somebody says a horrible thing, right? Like, think about it. Like when you have social media headlines, right? Like people always go after the rage bait. That's just the way that the internet is like almost not to say like design, right? But like it's the way that people function with the internet, right? Like people comment on stuff because they are emotional, right? About certain things. That's why you have like racist comments. Like people get triggered, then they just go out there and then like they comment kind of thing. And then over the course of time, then like human like emotion is amplified by the algorithm. And then that's what ends up like spreading across the world with all of its like what? Second order effects, third order effects kind of thing, which you can Google by the way. It's a very interesting term to think about, right? But when you think about like social media, it does have actual impacts which merit studying, which merit not just throwing away, which merit not just us saying, hey, you know what, there's an evil company out there trying to make money. This is why they're doing it. It's too simple. It makes millions of people out there, right, like end up believing that that is the case. And it like makes people think automatically, right, that like, hey, just because like you're like weak, therefore, then you are on the side of justice, these guys are evil. And maybe, right, like I'm saying that like though like as if it's kind of like a defense, right, of these companies. It's not, right? Like they can make mistakes, right? But the thing is, you can't just be going out there and saying that they are making mistakes in every single instance. We've looked at a whole bunch of like evidence today, right? Featuring like what they did, right? Under the circumstances under which they did it, and like all that stuff, right? So like that is something that we need to really like be thinking about, right? We cannot say that social media is sufficiently safe for youth So like there is a health advisory. Problematic use is real, right? So then like depressive symptoms are real. This is from the Lancet, by the way. Like this is a reputable journal. You may not trust ChatGPT, but if you look at like the Lancet, right, and you casually like forget that one time that they had that article that basically says that vaccines cause autism. That was like a big scandal in the Lancet, by the way. And like it's precisely because it was so prestigious, right? That basically it ended up becoming, right, such a controversy, right? But like there was a huge scandal at that time, right? It was actually like refuted and studied, that kind of thing. But it is still true, right? And it's almost like Discord, right? Like think about it, right? The Lancet was extremely famous, right? But then it had its credibility destroyed, right? Now, some of you might not know about the Lancet, and maybe you're only hearing about this like from me. So then in that case, then you might be like casually saying, leh, apa ni Lancet? Kau bodoh ke? That kind of thing right there. Fine, right? But you think about it right there, it's like you don't know very much about it, right? And when it comes to like say Discord, right, you might not actually know very much about it. You just know that like there's this age verification drama and all the influencers are suddenly talking about it, right? And it is so easy to go out there and say like, hey, they had this one thing happen, therefore they are doomed, they are horrible, that kind of thing right there. I don't know if that's actually true, but you can make the judgment. I'm not gonna like scold you or anything, or like say like, ha, you're an idiot, that kind of thing. No, like that's your opinion. And your opinion is your opinion, you know? And of course, even if you end up thinking like, hey, you know what, like Discord is actually horrible, it's trash, it's going to destroy your data and everything, there is a community here. There are people actually like thinking about using this, they are using it, and we are engaging and like finding meaningful ways, right? That we can actually like chat with one another and having like sorts of like conversations. Like, look at this. Like, you know that there was like a nice, like touching reunion that was happening right over here. Oh, oh, Ahriman and Dazai. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Personally, I think that this like love story could be like, you know, like even more interesting, like in some ways, here, there, and everywhere. I see like a whole bunch of y'all are like just casually, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Wow, like what is this conversation? Hello, 23. Yo, 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 yo. Welcome to the Discord. Yeah, so like got a whole bunch of like you just casually joining right now. But anyway, so kind of like going back, and we are essentially like about to come to an end, like pretty soon, right there. There are actually problems with social media. There are actually legit problems with social media. If you don't remember what was happening in your own country, I'm thinking that most of y'all are like from Malaysia. 16-year-old social media ban Malaysia. Look, this is what's actually happening right over here. Platforms will be required to take reasonable steps right there. And by the way, like remember earlier I was like saying the Online Safety Act? Online Safety Act. Okay. So like they were talking about how like, well, Discord, so like there actually needs to be, right, a situation where they verify like say the IDs. You actually need to do like a check, so to speak. And with Discord, essentially, they said very specifically that what they needed to do, right, for the UK essentially was that they need to actually take like an extra, like say, selfie right over there. And yeah, you can go right ahead and read the documentation. Like whatever I'm saying right now, like honestly, like I think that like you can just say to yourself, hey, like this is bullshit. Like it's complete like nonsense. He just wants us to join the Discord. I do want you to join the Discord, but I also want you to read the documentation, right? And not be like randomly freaking out. There's never been a situation in human history where like not reading stuff and then like just freaking out over things that may or may not happen, right, has ever helped you. At the end of the day, you have to make a decision, right? But why is it that like all these people are saying like it is really, really bad? It is really, really bad. Do you know it is terrible? But y'all actually never check the information, bro. Like, I love you guys, right? But like, I have to say, right? Like some of y'all, like you think to yourselves that like, oh, you know what, he doesn't support pass. Oh, like, you know, like we don't support pass either. Oh, that means that we are all like completely like we're on the right side of history kind of thing. But bro, I'm just gonna say this right here. But there are a lot of people who support DAP who are stupid. I'm sorry, but like it's true, right? Like there are a lot of people out there who support PKR who are also stupid. I'm not even saying this like non-ironically. I am literally saying that they lack cognitive capacity. It's just that it happens to suit them to support PKR or the AP. It doesn't necessarily require intellectual ability. Like, if you basically hate pass and everything, fine, okay. Again, right, I don't like pass. I don't like certain aspects of the way that they do things right there. I'm sure that they're very nice people, but again, like if somebody does support pass, I'm inclined, very inclined in fact, to think that there's a very high chance that they are not smart. But there are some people in pass that I do know are very smart, right? Nasaya Ismail, example of a smart person. Some other people, Fadli Shari, would I call that guy an idiot? No, I would not call that guy an idiot. There are some people who are like that, right? But there are also some people who are idiots. You have to evaluate things. You have to evaluate people case by case. And if you evaluate people case by case, then why would you not evaluate, say, your usage of a platform, right? In that case alone, by actually looking at the data and not like gaslighting yourself and like telling yourself a lie, right? Or like giving yourself anxieties that like you don't actually go out there and bother to check. You're just gonna like fall asleep, right? Like fearing. And then like you wake up, you fear, you fall asleep, you fear again, and you just never check because you never look at the primary documentations. So like yeah. But for those of you out there who never actually thought that like this was a problem, yeah, like the whole age verification thing was a problem. It is a problem. People are talking about it right there. And I just want to clear the air because, like, again, right, I'm inviting you to a Discord. I'm inviting you into a specific and new way to, like, communicate with me. I am basically saying, like, on my credibility right here, that, hey, you should take part in this right here. And what I wanted to do and what I am doing for you now is basically saying, look, go right ahead and join the Discord. If you face the age verification thing, then you have, like, all like the liberty that you have right there to basically quit Discord at no risk to you, right? But I would say don't let go, right, of that opportunity. You can go right ahead and make use of the link, right, in the description to go ahead and join the Discord. And you can also make use, right, of the QR code actually in like the thumbnail. I don't know, like did I put in like the new thumbnail already? Did I put in? No, I did not put in the new thumbnail. No, I guess you have to find that from the video, which you can actually. And that is actually, let me see, hold up. Canva, where are you? Canva. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, like that is basically about it. And let me see. Do we have the live stream QR code? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So poops. You can go right ahead and make use of this QR code, scan it like with your phone or whatever have you right here, and you can go right ahead and join the Discord server. And I look forward to hanging out with y'all sapoops out there when it actually comes to the time. That, by the way, is a CEO who is crying that one of you said was like, I don't know, like Israeli or something like that. And you have like pretty much like all the different aspects of what is actually going on right here. And that being said, that is Discord age verification drama in the age of our new server. Again, scan the QR code if you want to join, if you haven't joined already. And yeah, Discord, I don't think destroyed itself. I think that it's gonna be a while before it actually does do that. And we don't have evidence to say that it actually has destroyed itself. Let's go right ahead and read comments right now. What are you all thinking at the moment? Am I angry? Is what people are saying right there. Okay, so like I wasn't reading comments for a while, I'm sorry. But I was really like going like really deep into like talking about like this whole issue right over here. Now, what do we have right over there? So, wow, like so many different things from chat at the moment. Okay, so then what do we have right here? Dian Xia says, I've been using Discord for years and it's clear their system is hypocritical. The team doesn't truly prioritize real safety. Trusting a corporation for safety is asking for mass surveillance. Now, Discord is doing the same thing that Roblox is doing with these age verification and face scanning thing, and people do not like it due to the security risk. Agreed. So like, again, right? So what I said was not that you should trust the security process. What I said was, if basically you are subjected to the security process, then in that case, then you should consider leaving, right? I'm not saying trust the company with your data, right? I'm saying that like if you actually experience that, in that case, then you should. But if you don't, in that case, then like think about it, right? Like, is the company actually going to go out there and then like reach inside your wallet and then like basically like pull out your ID and then like say like take a picture of it? Do they have that technology? Is it possible for them to do that? Hijack your webcam kind of thing right there. By the way, I need my webcam right now to go out and fly out and then like find my government ID and like take a picture of it and then send it over to Discord, perfectly legible with no issues, without my intervention, running away from me, even if I go ahead and like try to chase after it and then like basically like catch it in my hand, only for it to basically like do a 360-degree somersault and then like fly over my head and then like eventually catch a picture of the ID and then send it over to Discord, while at the same time, by the way, like taking every single one of my memory cards and then basically like corrupting them so that I can never make a YouTube video again. Is that what's gonna happen? I don't think so. But you know, like again, so like there's no real such thing as a thing that has no risk, right? Like if you think about it, like, okay, now this is not really a very good, like, shall we say, thing to even say right here, because like it reeks of whataboutism, right? But like Meta and Google are really taking your data. They're doing it on a day-to-day basis. There's no way to stop yourself from like having your data taken. Do you know that like basically if you go into Google Maps and stuff like that, do you know that you can actually like find a list of like every single location that you actually navigated to like in the course of the time that you were using Google Maps? No, seriously, like go ahead and like look at it. Do you know that AI models, like for example, well, ChatGPT is like 5.2 or whatever, and Claude or whatever, are constantly training themselves on your data, that kind of thing? That's why basically like Discord came out with that whole what about this thing. Every single company is doing this. I'm not saying that Discord is good for doing this or that you should trust Discord on the basis of the fact that maybe in this particular case, like they are not actually doing it to like that level right there, that like they would be checking on you, because assuredly they are. I'm not saying that they're not trying to make money from you, because again, they are. They are trying to make money from you. There's no question about it. There's no dispute or anything like that. You can call them 100 different names like hypocritical and stuff like that. And you know what? You're probably right, right? They do not have your best interest in mind. But what I'm saying is that if they are not going to go up to you and say like, hey, we're going to check your ID on this particular time, like in this particular instance, in that case, maybe, right? Then you might be losing out on an opportunity to engage in a way that might actually be otherwise interesting for you. Now, if you're on the other hand saying that, hey, like if you install Discord into your computer, then suddenly then your computer is going to be subjected to like a data worm that is essentially going to grant access to the Chinese Communist Party. And Xi Jinping is going to be looking at like your personal emails and like your search history and looking at all the weird things that you put on your hard drive that you don't want anybody to see, not even your mother, your father, your brother, your sister. You will take it down to the grave with you, because like all of the things that you look at, you monster, you horrible creature out there, are so horrible that basically they would condemn you to the ninth circle of hell, and even God could not save you. Even if you had 1,000 different gods across like 1,000 different universes, none of that would be relevant. I don't know. All I'm saying is, if Discord doesn't ask you for an ID, then in that case, then I think that you're good. But if they do, and you are not actually a kid, in that case, then maybe you should walk away. This is going to happen more likely if you actually look at NSFW content on Discord. But if you don't look at NSFW content, then that's not going to be an issue for you. If you literally only come onto Discord because like your support right here is saying, hey, you know what, like I think this is cool. I think that you'll enjoy it. In that case, then maybe then like, well, you're not going to face that problem, right? If you do face a problem, again, what I said remains true. You can go ahead and quit Discord. No issue for me. Anyway, so what else do we have right over there? Discord being Wario ass in 4K. That's data stealing. We had problems with my digital ID. That is true. Absolutely true. And then what do we have right here? Arif plays. Your face, is it going to be scanned? That is a question. You can probably bypass it, yeah, in some ways. I think that would be like interesting as well. They profit from that stuff. I don't doubt that they profit from that stuff. Better safe than never. Don't show them their IDs. I agree. If you don't want to show them your IDs, then don't show them your IDs. Sure. You can use AI to do age verify. I think that like maybe like you might have misunderstood like something right there. Like Discord is actually going to be the one that is like running the AI in order to do the age verify, which is what they said basically like from the documentation. And what do we have right here? Saptor saying, "I don't think you know what's happening in America, my guy." Yeah, maybe. Look at Chinese chat. First one, I found something horrendous. I'm partially dormant and fed up with Discord. Yeah, like don't use it. I mean, like it's totally up to you. I mean, like you're an adult. Oh wait, if you're an adult, then probably they won't like subject you to the age verification. How wonderful. Oh, but let's see how horrible their technology is. Safid. Wow, I feel like these chats right there have been like quite a while, I would say. Most likely it's been like quite a while. I'm so sorry I didn't read like everything. I was like just yapping all the way. I'm sorry. Then like Chingays be all like whoop doop 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 and worry more about the scammers and hackers who do damage over that. You know what? Yeah, that's an actual problem. Like scammers, hackers, real. Real problem. Real problem. Pedos, real problem. Right there. But yeah. So the thing is, if you're not just okay, so like I verify everyone on my server, right? So then that means that basically like if you tried to join the server, then you would have basically like had to do this whole verify thing right here, which also means that like if you happen to like say like highlight a particular person, like don't accept DMs from a person that like you haven't actually been given permission to DM, right? Like these guys, I think that they're probably fine, right? Like look, they're probably like talking to one another right now or like having a conversation or like, oh, well, their mics are all off at the moment. They'll probably talk about it a little bit later on. If they're okay with like sharing stuff, then like fine, like no problem with that. But like just generally speaking, right? So like I hate to be like a dad at this moment to like every single one of like people out there who don't have common sense to use the internet. But look, right? Discord is a den where you can have a lot of scammers. Like that was especially true during the crypto era. And it was super popular because everybody was using Discord for crypto because it was such a good communication platform. It still is such a good communication platform. In the midst of this crypto winter right there, I think that that has gone down. I think that a lot of like NFT communities have also sort of like faded away. Me6, the plugin that I use to do like say levels, admin, moderation, and a whole bunch of other things like that as well, is kind of well moving away, right, from like its whole crypto focus angle. By the way, like since you guys have like stayed to the end of the live stream, I thought I would show you something interesting. That I think I'll show you something interesting right here about like the way that I moderate this. We're having like a fun like discussion about this actually, and like this could probably possibly go into like interesting right there. But look, right, okay, so like when right now, right, if you actually try to like type certain words, right, on the Discord, right, like you'll find that, and I welcome you to actually like verify whether this is actually true or not. You verify whether this is true, right? But like basically, if you say a bad word, then you'll get a warning, right? It's not like to the point of like basically like being banned or anything like that. But look at the bad words. Look at this. All right, okay. Discuss, debate. You know what? Like I feel that like I feel like this actually deserves a poll, even though like it's kind of like at this time of the day already. Okay. If you try to type in the words kafir, pendatang, babi, kapiak, or kafirun, then basically like what's gonna happen is that you're gonna get a warning. Like you literally cannot be like sending these words in the chat. I mean, like you can try, like maybe I'm wrong, maybe like it will get past the moderation filters and everything like that right there. But like basically, yeah, like I was like thinking actually of like some other things right there to basically like put in. We were like actually thinking of like the phrase atyong, which is basically like offensive, like a term to actually refer to like Chinese people kind of thing, right? But like it becomes like ah and tiong. And like, yeah, so like I can't very well be like putting in like ah right there, right? So like what if you want to say ah, like just generally speaking, like is that gonna be fine? Like is that gonna work? I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, I'm not gonna get like warning for myself. Like I welcome you to like go ahead and try if like you are willing to go ahead and get a warning. But hey, you know what? Like I also, by the way, try to put in like type C right there. So like nobody can actually say type C. I try to put in like type M. But like, you know what? Like that's not gonna work either. Because like in that case right there, then like nobody can ever talk about centimeters ever again. Bro, like look at this. Like it already says like type and then C and then M. It's literally like banning out the entire usage of all of those letters right over there. So like I mean I don't know. But you know what? Like you can try to like use these words right here. Did anybody try? Did anybody try? Oh, Marco. Yep, you've been warned. You've been warned. Okay, well, I guess that you actually were able to go ahead and use the word right there. But yeah. Bro. You know like some dude basically like said, hey, like what if people want to eat babi guling or stuff like that right there. And basically like, the way I think about it is like, if you want, right? Okay, there are some ways to overcome this, right? Like for example, like you could take a picture, like imagine that like for example you say like the word babi right here, right? And then you take a screenshot of it, right? And then like you put it in to like this right over here, right? So then the question is, will I get a warning of myself if like basically I go ahead and put it in? Do I? Do I get a warning? No, I don't get a warning. Okay. But look, right? Like at some later point, right? Like maybe as the server grows, then like it is going to become like hard for us to act. Oh, well, let's see. I aim to pick. Okay, I like that. Look, this is like one possible way that you can actually circumvent it. But look, right? Like we're here to build a community. We're not here to insult one another, right? So like this is one way to actually go ahead and like go around it, right? I'm telling you this right now. This is a way for you to actually go around it, right? Like I actually go and like attack my own system. This is how I basically like say it right there. But look, like if you want to like actually not respect one another right there, like or like if you want to joke amongst one another, I think it's great right there. But I think right, rather than doing this sort of thing, right, then you can basically say, all right. So like instead of saying babi bodo, right, then like you know what you can say? Okay, porcine animal of low IQ. This is what you can actually say. This porcine animal of low IQ, khinzir or pork, and not mention the insult. That is what it is. That is what it is. Yeah, so like this is basically like the kind of thing that you can do. If you want to say basically like instead of like saying kafir, right? Look, like you could actually say like person who does not believe in what I believe. Even like the words like kapiak or kafirun are also like banned as well because like I just like I cannot stand those words. So like come like go ahead and like come up with like ways of evading my moderation process. By all means, go ahead, do it. And I see that y'all are having like some fun right there in like voice chat. Wow. Oh my gosh, like but like no, this is basically like the kind of thing, right? That like we're kind of like figuring out right now, and like we're having like some fun, and yeah, it is what it is. Let's see what other comments have people been saying right here. Infidel, ooh, interesting. Now that is unique. That is interesting. Yeah. This is what we've got right there. Okay, so pedos danger cannot oppose laws here by calling reps like in the USA. Well, I mean, like, I have opposed laws before. Like, I'm not saying that's because of my unique qualities. I'm just saying that it's because, like, I tried. I actually did it, bro. So, like, am I angry? I mean, like, I think that. I mean, honestly speaking, like, I wasn't even thinking about doing a Discord until I think like Amirul Shafiq was like messaging me just the other day, and like, honestly, okay, fine. You know what? Like, Penguin, whom you may have seen like on the Discord, right? Actually created a Discord like a while ago, right? And that basically was like something that she was like very passionate about. If you're listening to this, then I hope that you'll continue with that passion right there. I mean, like if you think that is meaningful, please go ahead with it. But anyway, so then like that eventually led me to like go on and like say, hey, you know what? Like let's do this a little bit more seriously. I think that it's gonna be like a good experience. And when Amirul went and sent over the message, then I said like, hey, you know what? Like, why don't we go ahead and do it? Like, it'll be fun, right, for all of you. And if you have a good experience, if you have fun, then like, yeah, it's great. Yeah, so like Arif targeted. If Discord has my info, Discord is my livelihood. Blah blah blah. This doesn't scare me. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that that was like your livelihood right there. I mean, like you do art, right? If I'm not wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, okay, we can discover that a little bit later on. Scammers, me 67 implement the verify thing. Yeah. Yeah. That is basically the feature that you just like saw right over there. You tried it. You don't want to endure the wrath of Discord moderators. We don't have moderators just yet. I haven't really thought about who's actually going to become like a moderator at some later point. And honestly speaking, like I don't want you guys to like fight amongst yourselves. Like if eventually like it becomes like, I might actually like at some later point like just be all like observing people and then just being all like, hey, like maybe I'll like pick one or two of you. And if you are willing to do it, like it'll be an honor for me to basically like have you guys potentially like assist with the moderation as well. I'll try to see if, like we can like give you like some perks along the way as well. And yeah, so like that is basically what it is to think about. Yeah, infidel. Wow, okay, ooh, that's very interesting. I don't know. I feel like infidel is like a slightly more interesting usage right there, and I don't want to like over-regulate your language. So because I don't want to over-regulate your language, you know what? I'm not gonna ban infidel unless of course like you start using it like in like a bad way, in which case I may have to ban it. But like, I mean, just use common sense, lah, right? Like, be respectful. If it's a joke, then obviously then it should be obvious that it's a joke and not like designed to like hurt people. I can tell, you can tell. We are all adults, or so I would like to think, unless of course, like some of y'all need to be subject to age verification. Whoa, 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 whoa. But anyway, so yeah, so assuming that there are no more questions, I was thinking about doing a poll earlier, but I decided not to. But so yeah, so Sapoops, any last minute wow, Chinho be asking me right here and saying, hey, like have Zakir Naik as your mod, bro, 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 bro. No. I'm sorry, no. But thank you though. I mean like yeah, like that is that is something to think about. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this live stream and feel free to watch it. If you don't agree and you don't want to join Discord, then I can't make you, compel you, force you to join Discord or anything like that. But if you want to, then you know where to go. First, you have the QR code, which is right over here. You can scan it immediately. And second of all, you have oh my god, like what are you guys like even showing right now? That's crazy. What? Okay. Um yeah, so you go right ahead and use this link anytime you want. It is right here. I'm sending it right now in the chat. And as we go off, so the last thing I want to say to you is just yeah, like check stuff, like really think about it from every angle. Don't just like be scared of things, right? Everywhere it is that you go. Because like that's not a good way to live life, right? You can avoid everything, every single problem, right? But you may never actually go out there and experience like what may be good about life. And that's just my personal opinion. And again, it doesn't bind you. But if you're joining the Discord, then I will see you in there and catch you a little later. Thank you for watching and bye. Ciao.